Hello Miss, my name is Barbara Santana and in this video we are going to talk about pragmatics, Grice's cooperative principle and its four maxims. Let's start by answering the question, what is pragmatics? In the presentation you will see a major definition in which he proclaims that we need to understand the entire social context in which a sentence was uttered, a different level of interpretation that is studied within pragmatics, which, and this part is important, explores the role that context plays in the interpretation of what people say. So pragmatics studies the way that we use language, considering not just the explicit meaning or the explicit message, but other aspects that change the interpretation of it. Pragmatics doesn't tell us how to talk. It describes the principle that we usually follow when we talk in order to cooperate and make appropriate contribution to make communication as effective as possible. For pragmatics, there are a lot of things that tells us something about the meaning, like who uttered the sentence, the intention, the tone of the voice, the words that we use, situation, between other aspects that we usually can recognize, interpret, and understand, because this is part of our language competences, which is an implicit knowledge which allow us to understand implicit meanings. And that is how we can understand irony or sarcasm or other indirect use of language. So as we see in the picture, the same utterance can mean different things in different contexts and have different interpretation from different people. That is why it is important to know what effect have the context on the interpretation for pragmatics. And that is what Grice did by identifying a set of rules that interlocutor followed to make conversation possible. But that is something that my partner Belén Pastene is going to explain.
Thank you so much, Barbara. So now I'm going to explain to you what is the cooperative principle. Herbert Paul Grice, who appears in the image, was a British philosopher of language, and he was the creator of this principle. And according to a current explanation, verbal exchanges, whether interviews, conversations, or service encounters, tend to run smoothly and successfully when the participants follow certain social conventions. And you can answer, why is this principle called cooperative principle? And it is because all the participants of a conversation need to cooperate each other, and otherwise the information doesn't flow. So it's super important to mention that the participants or members need to follow the four maxims. So now we are going to analyze a little bit more what is the cooperative principle. So we have the observation of the maxims, and it means that the hearer assumes that the speaker knows the four maxims, and it allows the hearer to know and identify the intentions of the speaker. There are some limitations of the principle, and one of them is overlapping. That means that we can think that one maxim is working, but actually another one is working. We can confuse them, or in some cases, we can find more than one maxim working, right? So we can find quality and quantity, or we can confuse quality and manner, for example. There is another limitation of the principle, and it is related to different cultures' interpretation. If we think in social conventions, we know that it doesn't exist only one global social convention, because it depends on the culture of the country, right? So we could be thinking that a maxim is being violated, but actually it isn't. So that happened because different cultures has different social conventions. The four maxims are one of the most important things of the cooperative principle. So now they will be explained.
The four maxims of the cooperative principle are quality, quantity, relation, and manner.
The first maxim is quantity, and it is about saying just the right amount of information. Neither too much nor too little. So we have two examples of this, and the first one says, "Do you like my new haircut?" And the answer is, "I really like your outfit." And we could think that this sentence is complete, but it isn't, because we need more information to know the answer of the real question, right? And the second example says, "Would you change any part of the project? Help me please." And the answer is, "Yes, I would." And it's like, and do you have something more to say to me? Because the question is not actually answered. The first example is an example of flouting, because the message looks complete, but we need more information to recognize the real message. And in the other case of the second example, we can see and identify a violation of the maxim, because we need more information to understand, and we need to more. And in the second example, we can see and identify a violation of the maxim of quantity. Because yes, the answer is there, the information is there, but we need more information, because it's like, okay, but do you have to tell me something else?
Thanks, Belen. So now I'm going to explain two maxims of the cooperative principle: quality and relation. So let's go. The first one is quality. What that means? Well, quality is to be truthful. Do not say things that you believe to be false. You need to be sincere, and the message that you give needs to be complete and consistent. You can't leave space for questions. For example, if your mom asks you, "How much does it cost the 3-liter soda?" and you answer less than the 1 liter, or if you are going out to hang out and spend time with your friends and your mom asks again, "Where are you going?" and you just ask, "I'll be right back," you are totally violating the quality maxim, because you don't answer with the truth. So, in summary, the things here is answer the question and don't avoid the questions. That is quality. Now I'm going to tell you about what is relation. Relation means that you have to stay on topic. In other words, you can't digress. A very good example of that is when you need permission to hang out, to go a party, or to just spend time with your friends. So you go to your mother's room and you say that she looks beautiful, she is amazing, she's the best mom of the entire world, and that her goods is amazing, that she looks radiant today, and that her lunch is amazing. So you flatter to your mom with that all beautiful words. In that case, you are violating the maxim, because you don't stay on topic, you just digress with your words. And at the end of the case, the 90% of the time she said no. Terrible. If you digress with your words and you don't stay on the topic, you are violating the relation maxim. So we always have to stay on topic and don't talk and don't speak about other words. Well, so now my classmate Barbara is going to talk about manners. So go ahead.
Thanks, Ignacio. So at last but not less important, we have the maxim of manner, in which the main thing is to be clear. This makes our discourse as understandable as possible, and it has 4 sub-maxims. At the top of the list, we find avoid the obscurity of expression. This means to avoid language that is difficult to understand by who is receiving the message. For example, when we talk to a child, we usually use more simple or easier words. In the next one, to avoid ambiguity, we avoid using language with multiple interpretations. In the brief maxim, we provide concise information to allow the recipient to focus on the key concept, on the key details of the information, avoiding using too many words to make the point. Finally, in Be Orderly, we order or organize the information of our discourse in a way that makes sense and to make easier to process. For example, when a teacher shows or indicates the structure of the class before beginning the class. Violate a maxim means that the speaker intentionally fails to observe it, assuming that the hearer won't realize. To float a maxim is also violate, but this violation is so intentionally explicit that the hearer is expected to be aware of it and be able to infer that is a hidden meaning of what the speaker is saying. So in the example of the presentation, we can see how the sub-maxim of avoiding ambiguity is being flowed, because the answer is so explicitly ambiguous that the hearer probably note that the speaker doesn't want to talk about how was her or his day.
Miss, we realized that the conversations are more complex than we thought. But now we know something different and useful to have better relations. So thanks for watching us and goodbye.